Peter from A&P-Reacts. I'm here today with the legendary Peter Tägtgren to talk about pain. How's it going?
Yeah, very well, very well. How's it going over there?
We're surviving this madness, which kind of takes us to the conversation. The reason we're here to have this conversation, which is "Party in My Head," which is a song that I felt like you really addressed the madness of the last year really well. Now, it's
Yeah,
been 5 years since you've put out any original material with Pain. Uh,
yeah,
does it feel good to be back with some new songs?
yeah. Definitely, it feels great. I think maybe it was time because it's in between. The next hypocrisy is on his ways around the bend, so to say. And then it will be hypocrisy all the way. For a year or so. So I figured, there's still some time, so I'll squeeze in a couple of songs, before it starts going with that. And now I'm thinking about maybe do another song. So let's see how it goes. And while we're waiting for hypocrisy, I might as well start writing a new Pain album. So when hypocrisy is worked and done and been everywhere it should be, playing live and stuff, then boom, another album with Pain comes out. Hopefully, but I can't guarantee. It's all about mood and how you feel and how you do things.
What do you get from Pain creatively that you don't get from Hypocrisy, for example?
With hypocrisy, I don't really want to go outside our genre or comfort zone kind of thing. I don't want to change anything with hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is, I don't know, call it death metal or doomy death metal or whatever you want to call it. It's metal somehow, anyhow, and I want to keep it in there. With Pain, I actually started Pain when we were doing Abducted album, and I did these two last songs that's on Abducted where people flipping out. It's like, and it was not meant to be for hypocrisy, but the other guys thought they were good songs, and that's really how it started. I felt like I have an outlet for all kinds of music to write, but I don't want to fuck up hypocrisy. A lot of bands I saw in the '90s, they started to change a lot with their death metal bands. I don't want to name any names or anything, but we all saw that a lot of people started changing the going away from the root. But we tried to develop it and just stick to it. I mean, Catch 22 was an angry album. I was just pissed at the world, at record companies, at magazines, all kinds of shit, and that's why it became like that. But one of those albums you need to do to ventilate. But uh, for me, it was very important to have Pain to concentrate on production wise because it's a little bit different. I can learn a lot by doing it. With keyboards, with samplers, with computers and stuff like that I couldn't do with other bands or my own bands. So that's basically why I started Pain.
Do you feel like with Pain you have 100% freedom? There's zero barriers to your creativity. If something pops in your mind and you're like, I want to do that, you just
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, exactly. If you listen to Have a Drink on Me, it has a slide guitar. I never thought I was going to do that, but it felt like that's also a little party song kind of. So I had to try, and unfortunately all the listeners are the guinea pigs.
And talking
On a
about
lot of songs they are guinea pigs.
talking about party songs, "Party in My Head," I thought you nailed it in terms of talking about a very dark period of time in our existence, but you brought
Yeah.
it to the forefront in such a light-hearted mood that it's like what I'm listening to in terms of the vibe that I get and the content of the lyrics and what drove the song feels like worlds apart. How did you merge that?
Schizophrenia? No, I don't know. uh, I mean, the lyrics went really fast to write for once. It usually takes forever with me because I over analyze things, and that makes it crappy and takes a long time. But with this one, I just wrote what I was feeling. Fed up with getting everybody being locked up and writing about how bad people are feeling all the time, and you feel bad. And I didn't see I saw my parents from the doorstep. I had to like step down and step away and talk to them for a year and a half, and that was kind of bullshit. In the middle of the winter, they're standing with the door open, and they're like, "Hello," it was just fucked up. And a friend of mine said like a couple of months ago, like, "Why don't you write a song called like Party in My Head?" I'm like, holy shit! It just hit me. Dunk. Yeah, that's what I will do. So I wrote the lyrics in half an hour or something like that.
Wow.
And then of course I had to put the music in there. I never did that before. That's the first time I ever write lyrics first and then music afterwards. And maybe that's the new way to do it for me. Everybody who writes music, they have their own way to feel comfortable of writing and how it goes the best and how you are most happy with the results. So the music, I just really was reading the lyrics because I know how to write lyrics so it would fit into bars and stuff like that. So I was just sitting with the guitar and try to come up with a melody with the vocals and the rhythm of the vocals and the melodies and the chorus, and try to fit it in, starting in the wrong end, so to say. But it was interesting, and it was actually more effective, I think, to do it this way. I don't know if I ever succeed to do it again, but it was a cool way to do it now.
And when you look at the video, was there a representation of your life during the pandemic, or there's also a little bit of what you perceived everybody else's life to be like?
Yeah, I think I included everybody, especially friends that or musicians or their families and things like that. And I think it's very basic, this is really how it is. There's no science fiction here, it's just, I just say it flat out with no finesse or nothing. I just, poof, here it is.
What was the plan in terms of bringing the character from Shut Your Mouth, the alien from Shut Your Mouth, and even the milk carton and all of that?
Yeah.
What kind of parallels were you trying to draw between these two videos?
It was actually my manager who said, like, no fucking performance video. Everybody's doing that shit, standing and playing and singing. I'm like, okay, what the hell do we do then? I have no fucking clue. So we started spinning around, and we had this our friend that works with our web stuff. She actually came up with the first script to it. We're just giving it out to people to see what they would think. I send them the lyrics and the song, and she came up with one thing, and then my photographer that we use pretty often nowadays, she came up with another version. I never told any of them there, so they could get influenced by each other. And then when we finally found a director, because it was really hard to go anywhere to film in Sweden, nobody wanted to do anything. Yeah, but in 3 or 4 months. I was like, no, I need next month. Nope. So we had to call outside Sweden. I wanted actually the guy who did Shut Your Mouth to do this one. But the problem was he was going to have a baby at the same time, and he needed to be home. So I understood that. So we started pulling strings left and right. And my manager, she knew this person by seeing videos or something like that. I can't remember. But anyhow, he started writing on the script as well. So now we have 3 scripts, and somehow we develop it into what it is today. So
was the video as much fun for you to be in it as it is for us to watch it?
Both yes and no. I mean, I take it so serious. So when I see it, I see a lot of things that I wanted to change. But unfortunately, there was one clip that I didn't like, but we didn't have a better, because they all are connected together somehow, And even when you change, then you have to start the next sequence, and it had to blend into each other somehow. And that was, first he wanted to take a whole shot through the whole video, when walls opening up and people coming in and then close again and back to normal. It was a challenge, but in the end, I think it turned out really funny and great. I like the colors in it. I like that the whole band is in there. I like bringing back the alien. It was cool to get Jolene Turner in there for a half a second, just to make people, what the fuck was that,
Yeah, the alien at the end when you turn around when you're in bed and you see that was a surprise because you don't really see it coming. I mean, maybe the milk
No.
was a clue earlier on that
Yeah.
perhaps there's going to be something here, but that scene
Yeah.
at the end was really interesting from that perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like people really enjoy the video. It's the clicks are going good, you know. So I mean, I just want to entertain people. I just want to give them some what do you say, a carrot to keep on going, you know, to give them a smile on their face, maybe forget all about bullshit and things like that. You know, that's my contribution to see that we actually see a light in the tunnel now, you know, with the opening up here and there. So I just want people to enjoy the music, enjoy the video, and I have
Have a
no
good time.
fucking message.
In
It's
the,
just,
just fun.
yeah, I just want people to smile. I like to make people smile.
In the video, I saw what I think to be some Andy Warhol references there. Are
Yeah.
you a big fan? And do you see a little bit of pain as modern pop art, if you will?
No, no, that was the director's idea. You know, you see in the beginning Marilyn Monroe on there,
Yeah.
and then he wants me to merge into this kind of Andy Warhol kind of thing. And I thought also that was a pretty cool idea how he did it, you know. And I think you can interpret it any way you want it. You know, I definitely not a huge fan of it. I've seen it everywhere since I'm born in the 70s and stuff like that. So for me, it's like normal. Oh, one of those picture. Okay. You know, you never
Yeah.
thought it was Andy Warhol. Who the fuck was he? You know, but then when you start seeing all these pictures, you understand, okay, that's him. And when the guy said, yeah, I really want to do that. And we're doing Lebowski as well. I'm like, oh, cool. I love Lebowski. I'm the dude, man.
How was it for you to work with your son on these tracks?
Oh, it's so easy. He's so fucking talented, that kid. He doesn't even know it. Try to tell him how good he is, but you know, he's he he started to write with me in what was that 2013 on the last Hypocrisy album. Me and him wrote Soldiers of Fortune together. He wrote like 3 or 4 riffs on that song, and on the new album he actually wrote one song himself for the new Hypocrisy album, and he wrote for Lindemann Mathematik the song, and he's super talented. He's a really good drummer. He hits like a motherfucker. You don't It's easy to record him, you know, because he hits so fucking hard. You get the best sound. You know, you don't have to trigger and fuck around. You know, it's just there.
So is that a partnership that you see continue for years to come?
Yeah, I hope so. And I mean, he's constantly writing music himself and stuff, and he has a special uh, style, I would say, uh, that he writes, and it's great. You know, he went in and did the drums on Coming Home album, and I took him out on tour because then he was 18. I didn't want to bring him on tour before that because too much shit to see, you know, too much partying, too much of this and that. So I waited long enough to bring him, you know, and bring him with me, and he loves it. You know, he loves everything around it. I brought him also as drummer for Lindemann, you know, playing between 5 and 10,000 people every night, you know. So yeah, that kid got everything in like swoosh. And I
Yeah,
had to fucking work for 30 years, you know?
I was gonna say trial by fire. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it,
Unbelievable.
when you guys are working together, is there a father-son relationship, or it's just two musicians trying to get the
No,
best
it's
sound
two
possible?
music. It's two musicians. We just talk about how we should do this, how should we do that, what about. And he's also on this new project that's going to be announced soon. He's also playing drums on the whole album. And at least on that album, on this album, he can play a little bit more, yeah, show off. You know, normally he's good on that as well. He knows like, okay, play AC/DC, you know, that will work for the song, what kind of song it is. Don't overplay it, you know, just put a few finesses in there and here. So he knows all about it. I guess he's been around me for a long time, and he knows what I always complained about drummers. You know, coming home for dinner is like, how's it going in the suit? Ah, the drummer is fucking hitting too loose and blah blah blah. So he always had that in him. So he fucking makes sure he pounds it. You know.
Yeah, I get that. The other song you released with Pain is "Give Me Shelter," the Rolling Stones cover. Like,
Yeah.
what was it about that song that you felt like you wanted to give it your own spin on it?
It wasn't supposed to be from the beginning. From the beginning, 5 years ago, I recorded it and I pretty much copied everything on there. There was no distorted guitars. It was more like Fender Telecaster distortion and bass, and it was minimal. And I was singing normal and everything. I just wanted to have it to sit and practice blues on. But when all this epidemic shit was going on, I was like, fuck, man, it's still the same shit today as it was 52 years ago when it was singing about the Cold War and Vietnam and the world is gonna end and shit like that. And that's how it's been feeling for the last year and a half for everybody. So
Yeah.
we just asked the guy who clipped all these things together, try to find as much chaos as possible, and from all over the world, not only in one country or two countries. Like, try to get as many countries as possible in there to show that we know that it is bad, but hopefully it will get better. And then of course I put a twist on it in production wise, my, I guess, pain stamp on it, with my sounds and my way. I really don't like covers when they overdo it, try to be so different from the cover itself that it kind of loses its pulse in it. I didn't really want to do that because I don't like to hear that. So I always try to stay pretty close to the original, even though if it's not, at least you need something to guide yourself with.
Yeah,
So to
create
speak.
a parallel, if you will. And that was actually going to be my next question: is what do you feel makes a song like a cover song a good cover song?
Oh, I don't know. It just has to be something that mean to me a lot. Like the Beatles cover. First time I heard that, that's the first gothic song I ever heard or ever been written. I would say, Eleanor Rigby is pretty sad song and dark. So for me, that really hit my heart in the '70s. And it's been with me since. So after a while, I just had to do it. Kind of. Same with "Give Me Shelter" or Björk or whatever cover I do, Electric Light Orchestra. I mean, I grew up with that stuff also in the '70s, so they've been a part of my life. And I see myself as a jukebox. You just put in songs here and there, and somehow it just stays in there and roll around. And that's what influenced you to write music, I would say.
Your brain is like a musical blender. Everything goes in
Yeah,
there,
kind of. Yeah.
and then you blend it up, and then you have your own kind of like fruit smoothie that comes out, but musically.
Yeah, I think anything I see or hear or whatever, influenced me in the way I write music. And I think maybe it's the same with every songwriter. I don't know how other people work, but that's how it is for me. I don't understand that, oh, this influenced me in one way or another, but it does, it just goes in there and yeah, pile of songs and melodies and different kind of genres. And in the end, I spit it out in my way, kind of.
One last question for you, and I know you touched a little bit on this, but I'm hoping I can get some more information out of you, and that is with Pain working on a full length record. Do you see that coming, and what can you share in terms of some of the details that perhaps you haven't in your sleeve,
Yeah,
if you will?
I have no details because I haven't started written it yet. I don't know if any of these two singles will be on the album or not. Maybe they will be as a bonus or something like that. I really don't know. The only thing I know is that since the Hypocrisy album is done and this new project that me and another singer is working on will be out, it's finished, so I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to wait for it to get out. And also that, you can tour. So I probably have a half a year or something doing nothing. So I might as well start doing paint stuff now. So when the Hippo era is over and we push to every corner of the world and we play for everybody, then the paint album will come out and do the same thing with that.
And it's a rolling stone as far as you go. It doesn't stop. It just keeps on moving.
No, yeah, yeah. It's the only way to do it.
It's part of your mental sanity. I get a feeling that you need to stay busy and you need to stay
Yeah,
motivated creating music.
yeah, exactly. Otherwise, yeah, you kind of suffocate otherwise.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, Peter, thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate it. It's an absolute honor to sit here with you and talk about pain.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah. Thank you very much for calling me, man. And I hope to see you soon on tour.
I hope to see you in Toronto. I saw you guys a couple of years back. It feels like an eternity ago, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I hope to see you guys in Toronto soon. It will be amazing
Definitely.
to see you guys live again.
Yeah. Definitely, man. That will be killer.
All
Well,
right.
look me up. If you see us there, look me up, man.
I will for sure. I'll buy you a beer.
Well, yeah, exactly. Sounds good.
Take care, man.
Have a good
Bye.
one. Thank you very much.